don't know that feeling. They don't understand a woman coming up to them and saying, "Let me take you out." They might say, "Ooh, it's nice," but at the same time, in the back of their heads, they're thinking, "Why is this girl like this? Does she approach all the men like this? What is going on?"
It becomes that she is too forward, or she's too. What am I being catfished? Am I being trapped?
What's going on here?
The chase, right?
Do they really?
Men, I don't know. I think men like the chase. I think they like that. Like,
hey guys, this is Anisu, aka Nyati Shonga.
Hello, my name is Chido, aka Chizi. Wagwan, Advocate Amanda here. Hi everyone, this is Kuda, aka Coates. Hi, and welcome to As Told by Us, the podcast. This is a weekly podcast where 4 professional millennials discuss living in Zimbabwe and trying to figure life out.
Someone once told us the grass is much greener on the other side.
But from where we're standing, our grass is green. Subscribe, like, share, comment down below.
hi guys, and welcome back. So, first, I want to just say thank you to everyone that responded or voted in our poll when we were talking about dating. A lot of the feedback that we got in the DMs were very interesting.
Hilarious.
So we thank you guys for engaging, and it really seemed like it was necessary to do not a part 2, but more so a continuation of it. And what we did sense from the men in particular was that, so it was quite overwhelming. The vote was quite overwhelming to say that the Huns are not asking men out, right? And we're not doing that. I'm sorry, men. You're just going to have to keep doing that, right? But a lot of the responses that we got from men was, well, you guys are the ones that claim feminism. You guys are the ones that claim 50-50. So why aren't you asking the men out, right? If you people want a 50-50 treatment, why is it so absurd for girls asking men out if you are claiming that we're all equal, right? So it led us to think, okay, maybe let's talk about feminism a little bit. Maybe let's talk about what 50-50 actually means from our perspective. And then obviously we hope that you will engage with this and that you will let us know if you agree or disagree with our thinking. So obviously the first question, well, the first 2 questions, you can also answer whichever one you want, is A, what is feminism to you? And then B, what does 50-50 actually mean? What does equality mean to you? I think feminism means equality of sexes, right? And there's been quite a few waves of feminism. I think we're now on our 4th wave of feminism, where what women were asking for is the right to be seen as equal, to be seen as important, to be respected as an important sex, right? So that included the right to education, the right to work, the right to have and say at what happens to my body, right? Without having the patriarchy or the system dictate to me what I should do with my life. If I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, I want to be able to contribute financially to the household. I want to be able to go to school and further my education. And what 50-50 or equality means to me is very much more so for me, everyone has a role and a place, right? They are not set in stone to say, oh, the woman should be in the kitchen and the man should be at work. It really is, for example, if I have worked all day at work, and maybe you, as the man, you came back home early, if somebody has to cook, you were the one that was there first, right? What's stopping you from making us a meal for dinner? You know, if I'm having to work late, there's nothing that stops you from doing that. Even when it comes to childcare, right? Why is it the woman's job? Let's all take care of these kids. We both made them. Let's take care of them, right? So do you think that equality, feminism has taken away from your role as a woman? Does it also mean that you need to now do all the things that men do? Are you paying lobola? Are you paying on dates? Are you becoming the protector and the provider? What does that mean for you?
For me, I think it's important to emphasize that equality is not the same as sameness. We're not saying that we are like men. I think women, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We're very different. But for me, feminism means I want the freedom to choose for myself. I want the freedom to live as myself. I don't want to be seen as less than because I'm not. I'm different from you. Our abilities, our strengths are different, but then that's just the thing of being human. We're all different as humans, but I shouldn't be seen as less than. I think there's a measure of willful ignorance when it comes to that, because it's a very simple concept. Just the fact that even me, myself, doing what I do now, it's so wild to me that just 50 years ago, even less, I wouldn't be allowed to do that just because I'm a woman. Not too long ago, you couldn't sign a contract. You couldn't do certain things just because you're a woman. And that's ridiculous. And I think sometimes men like to take it a bit too far or to be extremist about it, whereas the concept is actually quite simple. But then I guess now, from what you've said, where you're like, well, why does it have to be a woman's job to, take care of the food and do the things? I guess the question then was, so why can't women then do main things then, if that's what you want to do? Yeah.
Okay, breaking it down. Okay, if you are a feminist, and I don't know if you identify as a feminist.
I do.
But if you are a feminist, do you feel, is your definition more so that women are better than men? Because I feel like, again, it's an extreme interpretation to say women are better than men or women are the same as men, right? So we can do all the things that men can do. And men can do all the things that we can do because all the sexes are the same. Do you subscribe to that thought process?
I know.
I think for me, feminism is that the basest level of feminism. If you talked about the waves, right? People weren't allowed to vote. That's how it all started. We were basically minors in the eyes of the world. We weren't able to do things that we are adults. We're supposed to be able to, but the patriarchy was saying, no, guys. If you want to own land, it needs to be through your husband or through your father. You can't have land by yourself. So I feel like because of gender wars and all of that, it becomes such a big thing. Whereas the crux of feminism is we just want basic rights. We want to be able to go to school. Families back in the day, I think my grandma or my great-grandmother, when you knew that they had plenty of kids, it would be the boy is going to school, right. The girls are staying at home. And this whole societal thing of the girls are supposed to be in the kitchen and the men are supposed to work. So you can't go to school even though you might be cleverer than your brother. Amen. Or you might have higher expectations for your life. Your brother's going, even though he might be dumb. He's not even able to go to university. So I think those are
my brother died. Ooh. So will I apologize for my callousness.
Hey. Shout out to Tidangarembo. Shout out.
So it's those basic things that's where I'm like, that's what feminism is.
Yeah.
This whole now gender wars, hey, the man must pay, the woman must pay, those are like exterior. But at the crux of it, like, are we at the same playing field? Do we have the same rights? Do you have the same opportunities to work? Do we have the same opportunities in that light? Yeah, that's feminism for me. The other stuff, we can fight all we want. And till the cows come home, we'll be saying the women must pay, the men must pay, what. It's difficult to really like pinpoint. Yeah.
I think I will echo what everybody has said, but what I do want to say is I think everybody needs to read We Should All Be Feminists. I think it's such a short read, but it breaks it down so beautifully, and it's just quite simply like what Anisu was saying. It's just like we just want to be able to do, like I just want to be able to be myself, and I don't want there to be barriers to education. What kind of work can you do as a woman? I feel like men and women, we have almost the same capabilities, and I'm not going to say like women are better than men or whatever, because that's another chat, but I think that we are better, but like but we just have the same capabilities, and all we're saying is that we want equality, across the board. And I think for all those men who are against feminism for whatever strange reason,
go read a book.
Really, it really just takes you 2 hours, not even 2 hours, 1 hour, you'll be done with that book. It just breaks it down so beautifully. And
I think there's a temptation to think feminism is a woman's thing, and it's a pro-women, anti-men thing, which is just a misunderstanding. Yes, of course, there's what they call extreme feminism, where it's more of a misandrist type of thing, where it's like literally women who hate men. But I think that kind of obscures the simplicity or the simple message of feminism. And it's ironic because feminism is actually beneficial to men as well. Because the patriarchy also hurts you. All that pressure that we're talking about in episode 2, go check it out, what's up? That is the result of patriarchy. Yeah. The enemy is the same. The pressure that you get as a male is a result of patriarchy. The fact that you aren't allowed to cry, you aren't allowed to have feelings when you have them, you're incapacitated in certain things and expressing yourself in certain ways. Feminism seeks to protect that exact same thing, to say that whether you're a man or you're a woman, you're a person, you're human at its core. I remember seeing something where someone pointed out the irony that when it's feminism, you don't understand. But when we're talking about racism, which is literally the same principles, to say, don't treat me less than just because I have a different color skin. It's just the same thing. And now that gender has become so complicated, I think it just kind of proves the point, that to say that just there's that innate sense of humanness, which is what you're supposed to respect. And just because a human doesn't look like you doesn't mean they deserve less respect. It's so simple.
I agree. I think it's definitely I don't know what people don't understand about it, and I think it is a systemic issue. Right. Again, back to I don't remember which episode it was, but even when we're talking about bicycle phase, right? The whole point was women shouldn't be given the opportunity to go further, to do more. But imagine if you were raised, and a lot of people are raised by single mothers, right? If your mother didn't have the gumption or the strength or the education to go out and work, where would you really be? Your mother educated you because she worked. Your mother educated you because she was educated. She set for you a standard, or she made sure that you went to work. She made sure that you went to school. She made sure that you were taken care of. If that lady was incapacitated and she wasn't able to do any of those things, you yourself as a man, where would you be? You know, and it's so important, and it's so weird again for me, because men will see their mothers, right, and say, I want the best for my mom. Your mom's a female.
And then you
your
say
mom's a
you're
woman.
and then you say you're not a feminist.
And then like, what are you saying, bro? Like, you're the biggest mama's boy, my nigga. Like, what are you saying? That doesn't even make any sense to me. How do you see your mother as one thing, but then your sister is completely different? Like, that blows my mind.
And then also another thing, I feel like as a man, if you're gonna have children, right, what aspirations and dreams do you have for your daughter, for example, right? How do you want the world to treat your daughter when she's 20 years old? And, you know, I think it's just crystal clear. Like, as a parent, obviously, you'd never want your child to be sidelined for being a girl or for whatever. But, like, I just don't get why you would say you're not a feminist, but then you're posting on your WhatsApp status to say, I'm a girl dad.
What does that mean?
Well, you is a feminist.
And I think maybe the term feminist is what scares men off. I think the term to say it's not even like I'm pro-female, but, you know, it's right now that's what I can think of. It's just to say I want females to also be able to rise against all the things that, how Amanda said, Black people have had to rise against, right? And just seeing everyone as equal, right? But now, because we are Zimbabwean, we are Black, we are Christian, there are certain gender roles, right? So how do we navigate the gender roles when it comes to feminism, right? So just as an example, again, we were talking about the dating thing, and the question came up to say, for example, who pays for dates? Right? Do men pay for dates? Do women pay for dates? Does everybody? Do we split the check? Does it go half and half? Right? So a lot of men in the DMs came and said, well, when it comes to paying, the girls want to be, you know, princesses. They don't pay for dates. They don't, you know, do 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And similarly, as Hans was saying, we're looking for a man who can be the provider. We're looking for a man who can be the protector. We're looking for a man who does, quote unquote, do the traditional role of men, right? So you're a feminist. How then do you navigate that situation?
So I think for me, as I've grown a bit older, I grew up with an older brother who's just about 3 years older than me. So I remember when I was younger, it was more like I can do that too. Yeah, no, I'm just as good. You know, I can do that. And then I think it translated into sort of wanting to overdo certain masculine things because you thought that's what's gonna make you get ahead. Especially now we're in a very male-dominant industry. And I remember even starting off work, I felt like you had to be more like a guy to compete with a guy. You have to be more aggressive, you know, also, you know, talk like them, speak like them, do what they're doing. You know, you really want to fit in because you think that's how I'm going to get a piece of the pie. As I've grown older, I think I've started to see a bit of a difference between femininity and feminism, right? I think the bad thing about patriarchy is that it actually takes away from femininity. They talk about your inner feminine. They say everybody innately we have feminine energy, we have masculine energy, and those sort of need to balance in a particular way. And you know, the result of patriarchy is that you've undermined the value of femininity and what that does in an environment and what that does to the world. So as I've grown, I've started to see and feel more strength in my femininity, in what I bring to the table as a woman. And when I express myself fully as a feminine, that I'm like, okay, I don't have to be like the guys, right? Because I'm not like them. But when I tap into the things that make me me, you know, the things that make you feel your sensitivities, the you know, all the words that align with the feminine, those things are just as powerful as the masculine traits and just as important.
They're different, but they're
They're different, but they're important, and that's really the hasp of it. So when you put it like that, when it comes to things like paying for dates and whatever, that's not my strength. That's not my thing. Like, I'm very happy to, like, something as simple as, like, it's not my strength. It's not my portion. Something as simple as, like, passing the princess, right? Guys like the thrill of driving and, like, you know, operating machinery, right? The early feminism will say, well, I want to be a pilot too, I can do it, right? Because there's certain women who that's their thing, but not all of us, right? It's merely seeking to say, well, I shouldn't be cut out of it just because I'm a woman. If I want to do it, I should be able to do it. But
So
then
choice is an important thing there.
Choice is just the underlying thing, because then now in a dynamic between a male and a female, I think it then now becomes really about you guys as people and the balancing of those energies. Because you're going to have men who are a bit more on the feminine side. You're going to have women who are a bit more on the masculine side. You know, our balances, depending on what it is, are going to be different. But then, you know, that balance is what's going to play into the day-to-day. You know, you might feel more secure in a relationship where you feel like, okay, this man is going to show up. He feels even more like a man when he's going to pay for the date, when he's going to do things like, why am I taking you out? You see what I mean? Because now I'm out of my element, because I've never wanted to hit on guys. I don't even have that desire. You know what I mean? It's just like, why? And feminism is not us trying to prove that, okay, we also want to do this, so we're going to ask you out. It's just, I think it comes down to choice. At the end of the day, what works for me won't work for you.
I think for me, I actually don't mind paying on dates. I don't mind, like, you know, forking out something during the relationship.
The whole thing.
No, man. Forking out
I
something.
can do the tip.
What I think the problem is, it's actually the patriarchy as well. To say a man should pay or a woman should pay, or you know, it's those societal things that we've been taught for so long that you actually need to unlearn. And unfortunately, our brothers don't want to unlearn them. So we can't then say, I will pay or I will do this. Because I've seen so many Zim guys then say, she's too forward. Or why is she the one who supports the family? All of these funny things. Because in your mind, you can't even
like being hit on.
They don't.
They don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it.
Don't know what to do.
They don't know that feeling. They don't understand a woman coming up to them and saying, let me take you out. They might say, ooh, it's nice. But at the same time, in the back of their heads, they're thinking, why? This girl like this? Does she approach all the men like this? What is going on?
It becomes that she is too forward, or she's too... What am I being catfished? Am I being trapped? Like,
what's going on here?
The chase, right?
Do they really?
Men, I don't know. I think men like the chase. I think they like that, like, you know, when a girl like plays hard to get a little bit, and you know,
that's the thing. So I don't know, because I feel like there's some things we take from society. There's like blueprints we've taken from society that we then just act out. A woman should, a man should. This should be what we should be doing. So it's very difficult when you're now saying, I want to unlearn those things, because people aren't willing to learn.
And also when it comes to like dating, I definitely think there's stages to it, right? If we are dating, right, just casually dating, I'm not paying for anything. I'm so sorry.
Especially the first date.
I'm not doing it. I'm so sorry.
Why?
But if I am now in a relationship with you, Anesu, or with whoever, if I say to my man, babe, let's go out.
I got this.
You know what I mean? I got this. You know what I mean?
Don't worry.
But because the relationship is different. We're not dating. You know, we're not like casually dating. It becomes a difference. And I think sometimes we forget that there's levels to this thing, you know? And I know, like, at least for us professional women, it's not that we can't afford it. Don't play it. Like, if we wanted to go out, but then you then start having those things where it's like, oh, she only wants to go to such and such a place, right? And that's an expensive place. Or she only wants to go to such a, you know, and now you are bleeding the men dry. Right? You're just taking them. Every time he says, oh, okay, where do you want to go to? I don't know why you ask me. Don't ask me where I want to eat, because then if I tell you where I want to eat and you can't afford it, now it's my fault. So don't ask me. Just tell me, okay, babe, we're going out. And then you tell me where we're going. Yeah, like you tell me, because if you ask me, right, and maybe, I don't know, like my mom always says is that sometimes because we are professional women that make our own money, we may be then deemed difficult, right? Because if I'm telling you I want to go to such a place, probably because I can afford it, right? So if you say, okay, listen, I don't have the money for it, I'll probably be like, okay, it's fine, I do.
I can buy, yeah.
And then already,
that's the problem.
I'm willing to pay, but then the man is feeling emasculated. Then what?
Yeah.
What must happen?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it comes down to the dynamic of the actual people. Because we can't take these things out of context. Because for me, right, as a professional woman, being at a certain place, it already changes the dynamic of the relationship that I want to be in. I don't want to be with somebody, because I've made this mistake as a young person where you're like, oh, okay, no, it's okay. You also want to compensate. But, you know, if a man is feeling insecure in certain ways with you, that dynamic is not going to end.
Yeah.
So already those things, although it might seem small, this is us, like you said, there's levels to this thing. This is us seeing how far it can get in a particular situation. Because I don't want to downgrade my lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to emasculate you. I want to be able to be with a man who I can respect. And I can actually give him that kind of respect. But that can only happen if he also feels secure. Like I saw this TikTok about a guy saying, you know, with a woman, when he like looks at her Instagram or whatever, the first thing he thinks is, can I afford this hand?
I saw that too.
Shits and gigs.
And I think that's a little bit important.
Yeah.
Because that's the dynamic of the people involved. Let's not force things. Let's just, like I said before in the previous episode,
take your time! Take your time, bro. Take your time. But okay, so do you think, right, with now let's say the extreme feminism, at least how it's viewed by men, it's made men more complacent about their actual roles in a relationship.
Yeah. Definitely.
What's wrong with men?
Because, you know, now you find all these men out here, oh, I want to be a house husband. Oh, I'm looking for a sugar mama. Bro, like
that's not your portion, bro.
It was never your portion, right? And I think that's the difference, right? Us wanting a choice, right? Just to have access to something doesn't mean I want you to now negate your entire responsibility. I don't want to do everything. I just want to say, I want to be able to, you know, even housewives are contributing to your household, right? Choosing not to work, at least let that be an option, or something that we discuss as a family and we say, you know what, Mandem is going to go work. I'm going to be here and raise the kids. That in itself is a choice. I'm not doing it because I'm supposed to do it or because the law said I should do it. I'm doing it because I feel like it. If I want to be a princess, I'm doing it because I feel like it, because my man can afford it, right? It should just be, it's the choice of it. But now when you have all these extreme things where men are saying, okay, well, you want to be the woman, you want to be the man, so you be the man, I'm going to stay at home. And sometimes in a situation that does work, right? Sometimes maybe my job is very intense and I can't stay home, but maybe you work from home, right? So then maybe you take over some of those responsibilities that a woman used to take, or your wife used to take, and that becomes, like Amanda said, that becomes an individualized, contextual thing between a couple. It's not a society thing, and it shouldn't be an issue when, he tells his boys, oh, I stay at home with the kids, she goes to work, and then the boys make fun of him. It shouldn't be a thing where you feel emasculated because your woman is driven or your woman has goals.
I can't even picture the men you're talking about.
I
to be honest,
I've seen them on TV, guys.
Yeah, because how people usually work in this place is that, have you seen that meme where someone was like, I want a girl who works, I'm not looking for any superficial stuff, I want a lady who works. Someone was posting it on TikTok. Like, guys now, they don't mind staying at home, but they don't mind you being the go-getter woman you are. But they expect you to also be the wife at home. That's the problem. They're not saying, let's half. I will do the cooking and the cleaning and the taking care of the kids. No. You'll be like, I'm at home, I am watching TV. But when the wife comes home, she still needs to be a wife.
And cook. And clean. And go on her knees.
That's so messed up.
Yeah. I think, for me, that if you're in a relationship and you say you love me, right? It should go without saying, right? Like, that I am going to work and I finish work at 8 p.m., right? And that you spent the whole day at home. But you tell me, so you're going to tell me you love me, but you're going to leave the sink full of dishes. There's absolutely no way. Then you don't see me. For me, that's just what it means. Like, then it means nothing when you say you love me or whatever.
At the end of the day, all of this is semantics on a day-to-day basis. But, do you like the person?
Yeah.
Because I was seeing, those TikToks about, am I the asshole? And then it was one story where it's like Chido doesn't have TikTok. Can we all collectively shame her?
Please go. Beaten up.
Or maybe actually just stay free. This thing was just too much. But anyway, so he was saying it was a stay-at-home dad, and the woman was working. They had made this decision. He was like, no, I don't want a nanny taking care of the kids. I'd rather be one of us, whatever. But then she was complaining to say, well, he's actually not tidying up. He was saying that she's extra, she wants too much, he wants me to wash the kids every day and he thinks it should be every other day. She wants me to mop and he thinks that's excessive. Things like that.
Every day.
And she, at one point, then she got so fed up because she was coming back from work, having to do all the tidying up anyway because their standards of cleaning were not the same. And that came to my mind to say, do you actually even just like this person?
You hate her.
First of all. Because why are you so comfortable? Because now women are now seen as just this role player to say, I work, I cook, I clean. And people are now getting into these arrangements, marriages, just wanting a maid. Or do you want a partner? Because a partner is a different thing from someone who's going to play a particular role in your life. You might be a man who's like, oh, I'm a working man, and I actually want to have a wife who's going to stay at home, do all these domestic things, and that's going to complement my life. That's the kind of partner that I want. It comes down to the first commandment. Date your type. Hey, you know what I mean? Because then at the same time, that same man, knowing that that's what he wants for his life, will then go and date the career woman.
Yeah. Right. Why are you doing that?
And then I was now chat off, I think you should quit your job. Oh! This is what you liked about me in the first place.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely important to talk about these things early on.
That's true.
Tell me, are you a traditional man? You want me to be at home? But can you afford me to be at home? Can you afford my lifestyle when I am at home?
But that's the thing with dating. They never tell you.
They lie.
They wink you.
They lie.
The men
lie. The men lie.
What's wrong?
And I think
it's like the second time.
What's wrong with men?
What's wrong with men?
And I think something that did come up was, you remember that Gabrielle Union
Oh yeah.
Oh, 50-50 thing that happened. And what I found, when I first heard her say it, I was completely fine. I was like, absolutely. You know what? You're both working. You both split the bills 50-50. Sharp. Right. That's cool. My parents did that. I get it. But then I listened to her husband. And Mandem said that the 50-50 thing only came about because he said when they were living at some other place, he said, this is my house. I pay the bills. And so my girl had to say, when we move,
Sure.
when we now get our new house, I'm going to put 50% so that you never have to say that again. Right? So you don't take me for granted because clearly you don't respect the role that I'm currently paying. You will only respect me if I'm also paying bills. So she was forced into that situation because she needed the respect of her man. Right? And the only way he could understand it was through finances. But what does it matter that she was raising his children? He had all these other kids before him, before her, and she was helping raise them. And he clearly didn't respect that part of it. She was working and she was supporting her own family. He didn't respect that, right? And only until she actually put her money where her mouth was, in terms of contributing 50-50 into their household, did he start to maybe, I don't know, but like respect her a little bit more.
Yeah, it's tough because I won't even lie. I'm not that insistent on like working. It's hard, yo. Like I would like, I can imagine a life where I say if I have kids or a family and say I want to spend more time doing that while somebody else is bringing income. But at the same time, I want to have my own money. Yeah. And it comes down to a certain freedom and flexibility. Because whether we like it or not, money dynamics are tricky. Even in a dynamic where the woman makes more money than the man.
Oof, don't do that.
I've heard and seen that women sometimes can be very ugly in those situations. And it comes from that thing to say, well, I'm paying for everything. There comes a certain resentment to it. Even when it's a man who has a housewife and she's like chopping money and things like that, certain small things can take you off because it's like you feel like I'm doing all of this for us, you don't appreciate it. She feels like I'm doing all of this for us, you don't appreciate it. And it just comes down to the personal dynamics. And I think people want to hide behind, the role playing, this and that, but
Not role
at the end of the day, it's just, do you like this person? Do you like
It just
her?
boils down to that. Do you like her?
Do you like? And also, I also feel, and how Chido said, the conversation of feminism requires men, right? And I say this because if men are the ones in powerful positions, if men are the ones that are in dominating positions, right? You need at least one man who's on your side who will say, but have you seen what Chido has done? Oh, have you seen what Amanda does? Because it might, maybe if a man says it to another man, they'll receive it better than if a woman says it to a man. Maybe if I say it, it might come off maybe as aggressive, or it might come off just as me trying to fight you because you're a man. But then if a man actually says, but I actually feel like Anissa's really good at this, maybe give Anissa a chance, right? Then they will maybe more likely give Anissa a chance, So I don't think we can even completely remove men from the conversation of feminism. Even I think, don't remember which one it was. I think it was episode 5 when we talked about that Japan man who was the chair of the women's empowerment.
Man, not Japan man.
Japanese man. That Japan man. Who was chairing the women's empowerment thing, and men are important in the conversation. You can't leave them out, and again we say, should he be chairing? Probably not. But the point is, you can scream women's rights as a woman until you have no voice. If the men are not receiving it,
Yeah.
And they're not giving women the opportunities. And they're the ones that are in parliament. They're the ones that make the laws. They're the ones that determine where you go from here. You scream as hard as you want. You're getting nowhere. But you need the men in the conversations, which is why the men needs to read the book. Read the book.
Feminists.
Read the book.
Like it's like I said before, the misconception is that feminism is for women.
And
Feminism is
for everyone.
The equality of sexes. It's for the benefit of everybody, and it's not a woman's thing. Yeah, I think it's a bit interesting though, because when you said that, even if I think back, even on my career, and starting off on my own, a lot of the people who gave me a chance or were willing to stick their neck out in situations that really mattered were men. Where it's like I've been, you can be in the room saying the same thing, and the man next to you will be like, "But did you guys hear what she said? It's just this and this," and then suddenly it makes sense to them because it came from a male voice, and you're like, "Okay, great."
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So just to wrap it up, it really just is. I don't think we should forget our roles as people, right? And there are definitely things that women are not going to do, like asking men out. We're not doing that. Please, men, just do your job. You have one job. Do your job, But the point of feminism is that we require choice, we require access, we require the same opportunities, and it benefits everyone. It does not mean we're against men. It just means we are for everyone, And so this leads us to... Okay, actually, I called this one Hot Topics. Not fun facts. Because we were talking about splitting the bill, right? Did you see the thing on TikTok where there was that girl that had her birthday party and then they racked up a bill of $4,800, right? And then there was about 13 people there. And so the Hun said, let's split the check evenly between the 13 of us. The man said, absolutely not, because somebody had, I think one of the girls had lamb shanks, and the other girl had oysters, and then the guys had water. And fries. And fries. The guys had water and fries. So they were like, no, we're not splitting this bill evenly. You pay for what you ate.
I agree. Bruh. Isn't that the whole point of going Dutch? Right?
Yeah.
That's the concept, isn't it? Like when we go out for dinner, then or whatever, I just pay for whatever I've
eaten.
Wait, where did this happen?
I don't know, I saw it on TikTok.
Okay.
In the States.
I even saw it, and I'm not on TikTok.
It was in the States though, for sure.
But you see this thing of why are you going for a party if you want to pay? But anyway, I know, splitting the bill, unless you've agreed in the beginning.
Yes.
And also the numbers matter, I think.
Yeah.
If it's 3 of us, or 4,
then we split the bill evenly.
It makes sense, but also we must know before. But otherwise, just pay for what you ate, yo.
Honestly, my rule of thumb is I should be able to afford what I eat. Yeah. At the very least, afford what. Why am I ordering things I can't afford?
I haven't asked. So this party thing, the girls were saying let's split. The guys,
yeah, because the girls all got the very expensive
fancy
things.
food, and the boys ate water and chips.
But girls were just basically saying the boys must pay.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, it's now it feels like they invited the boys just to pay for the food.
It's kind of like that. Remember that?
I'm sorry, but no.
That thing that happened on the internet where the girl had her boyfriend. I think she was supposed to go on a date with her boyfriend. Then she brought 9 friends or 19 friends.
Yes. See, that was gonna bring me to my next thing, right? Say the 4 of us. The 4 of us go out, right? And somebody mistakenly brings the person. Do I expect your person to pay for my bill?
Ooh. I don't. Personally, I wouldn't expect your person to pay for my bill. But
Would
if he does
you
pay for it,
say,
then that's
okay,
great.
now I'm
The
flipping
person a
it.
blesser?
I'm flipping it now. Say it's your person.
Yeah.
And your person says, I will pay the bill for your 3 friends.
Guys, remember that time when we were in PE? And I had a person who paid for our bill. In PE.
I don't remember.
At
I
Ocean
remember.
I don't know.
I remember.
You know, like on the one hand,
What was it? Give me more reminders.
We were in PE. We were in
listen, we're going to take this offline. But, right, I feel like
Oh. I think, guys, let's all respect each other as people. It just comes down to that. Also, sometimes it's human decency, right? It's not. It shouldn't be a thing of like, because there's some people, especially if it's your person, right? One, they're meeting all of you for the first time. I'm not talking like, say, if I'm with my person, they're meeting all of you. It's probably, trying to make a good impression, be nice, and just be whatever, cool. But then now there's now a different side where it's not like, we want to punish this guy. That's
why I asked
free
you
lunch,
to be a
then we're doing this
blesser.
and that.
okay, but now I said, if Mukwasha says, okay, you and the girls are out, let me pay for them. Do you feel okay with him paying for a bill?
Yeah, you guys we're friends, most. I think we like each other.
It's your money. Do what you want.
I'll be happy.
I think we should respect his agency, right?
Yeah.
To say, look, I can pay for it. If you say it by yourself, without duress or whatever, then cool.
I might look at him.
But we shouldn't expect him to
But we
pay.
shouldn't expect him to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
I actually think it's offer.
I don't get those girls. Those 18 girls came with their whole purses, but they had nothing in them. What were they expecting?
They look, sure, that was so embarrassing.
I think the intention behind it is quite important. And the difference is usually quite obvious. Because there's people where it's like, okay, we're not even friends like that.
Yeah.
So if we're not even friends like that, and you can see that he's just being genuine and nice, and these girls are like taking advantage or just being funny, yeah, we're gonna put an end to that very quickly. But then if it's like literally we're amongst family and it's just good vibes, obviously we know we all have that mutual respect, because it's not like this is like, I need to say, is it a blesser or is it like your
It's your man.
If it's a blessed, I will chow him.
Tell me ahead of time. Is he a blessed or is he your person?
Yeah.
Let me know ahead of time so I know how
If
to
it's a
conduct
blesser, I
myself.
will chow him.
Okay, and then this is actually a fun fact, guys. But I saw the story maybe 2 weeks ago, and then I said, I need to share it. Right. So at the Hilton Hotel, right, there was a nighttime manager, right, and he entered a guest's bedroom and was sucking on the guest's toes. So he made.
When you say nighttime manager,
Yeah, so he was manager at night.
Oh,
you know, like it's
like
a
night
hotel,
shift.
so he was doing the night shift.
thinking.
He was doing the night shift, and then I guess he saw this guest when he was checking in. He made a replica key. So when this guest was sleeping, this was about 5 a.m.
just suck her toes.
He went to his toes. Nighttime
Oh my
manager,
God.
man. Guest, man. Right, and he was down,
What's
entered the
wrong
room,
with
started
men?
sucking. Anyway, so he was charged with aggravated burglary and assault. Burglary and assault. But now here's my chat, right?
Did he steal?
He didn't steal anything. He just sucked on the man's toes. But now here's the problem. The guest, who is also a man, the guest had asked, I guess when he went, he did his court papers, he had alleged sexual assault. But I think the court maybe didn't take it as sexual and then just said burglary instead or assault instead, but not more so sexual assault.
Sexual assault.
That's sexual assault. That's what I said. That's sexual assault. But then I think, you see, and that I think it would not have been different if the guest was a woman.
It was a woman.
That would have made it sexual
This
assault.
man clearly has a fetish. Sexual fetish.
Sexual fetish. Anyway.
Feminism also protects these guys because right now in the current system, the men are not safe. When it comes to sexual assault,
You're not
guys,
safe.
if you're a man and you're sexually assaulted,
You're not safe.
your problems are a lot. Your problems are a lot.
And
who believes you?
when you go?
No one
report?
Who
not
believes you as a man to say I've been and clearly this court didn't believe it was sexual, so they kind of just said, well, it's two men. He just stuck on his toes. It wasn't, so
Yeah,
they
be a man about it.
Be a man, exactly. It became a be a man, but feminism would have said, me too, honey.
Help you.
It would have helped you. Exactly. Anyway, so this guy is currently on a $27,000 bond. He's
The Tosaka.
the Tosak.
That wasn't his first time doing that shit.
Yeah.
I probably know it, but I don't know.
That is so creepy.